So a fresh low in what has been a troubling last few years for Tiger Woods. We're joined to discuss the fall of Tiger Woods by India's foremost golf writer and a man who has interacted with the former world number one a fair bit, V. Krishnaswamy. Mr. Krishnaswamy, that mugshot released by the Palm Beach County was a ghastly one. Would you say Tiger Woods has hit rock bottom?
Oh, well, certainly, without doubt. It's very ironical. A month ago, when we were all at the Masters, we were talking about the 1997 Epic Masters, which was his first major. The world of golf was celebrating his first Masters and the emergence of Tiger Woods. And only exactly 2 decades later, on the 20th anniversary, or rather the 20 years of his rise, now we've seen him hit the rock bottom. It can't be any more. He can't go any more lower than this. Spending 4.5 hours in a prison, and whatever be it, whether it was driving under the influence of alcohol or a mix of medication, as he's said that in his statement. I think it is now something that he really needs to introspect and see. That if he really loves golf, if he really wants to get back, it is something that he really needs to dig deep. He was known to dig deep on a golf course and come up with some unbelievable shots. Now he needs to do that within himself to see if he can resurrect his image and possibly come back to professional golf.
Mr. Krishnaswamy, that halo of invincibility, that aura of greatness obviously was tarnished by the events that transpired in 2009. If we are to look at the last 8 years, could you quickly give us a recap of what exactly, in your opinion, went wrong for Tiger Woods?
I think, his domestic problems, which actually came about, after the revelation of a series of infidelities and, him chasing women and being caught by the media at that point of time. And then, the entire events, everything spiraled out of control. And Tiger Woods' performance has since then been, quite, it was patchy in some ways. In 2013, he did come back and win quite a few titles. He won as many as 4 or 5 titles. It seemed like that Tiger Woods was back. But then again, at the same time, it was ironically his back which actually gave way. 4 times, I can't recall of any modern contemporary sportsman who's actually been able to make a comeback at the topmost level after 4 back surgeries, and yet Tiger Woods had not given up hope. Now, I saw him last year at the Hero World Challenge in the Bahamas, where he'd come there. He was, looking pretty much out of shape. I saw him then in Dubai, where he actually played 1 round and he withdrew after that first round. He did come for a couple of tournaments on the US PGA Tour after that, including his favorite golf course, the Torrey Pines. But there was, something missing. When Tiger Woods actually walked onto a golf course, there was a swagger. It was a swagger that was unmistakable. He used to win, he used to have an advantage of a few shots. The moment he walked onto a golf course, the others were intimidated by him. But post 2009, that infamous incident in Isleworth, where he actually backed into a fire hydrant, and the resultant things which really completely went wrong in his personal life also, that completely changed it. And after that, his form on the golf course started deteriorating, except for a brief period when he won in 2013. So at that point of time, all his rivals, especially in the golf world, realized that Tiger Woods was not invincible. He was just like any other golfer. He could be beaten not just on the golf course, but also mentally. So I think that was the tough part about beating Tiger Woods, was the mental toughness. If he needed to make a 20-foot putt, he would make it. But now he would even miss a 2-foot putt. And here it is, suddenly everything going out of control. And I think just as you rightly said right at the start, this possibly is rock bottom. From here, it can only go up. I don't think there's any more lower down left for him.
That's right, Mr. Krishnaswamy. If you look ahead, I'd like to ask you a final question. When you look at sporting legends, comebacks often define their storylines over the course of a long career. Michael Phelps had a remarkable comeback from troubled times back in the day. Tiger Woods himself had come back to claim the #1 ranking briefly in 2013. Do you think there is anything left in the tank for him to mount one final fight back as a golfer?
Personally, I've seen Tiger Woods at his best. In the early, between 2000 and 2008, when he won his last major, there were quite a few matches that I saw. And even after he came back, and I've seen him play really some fabulous shots, I mean, fabulous golf. And in 2013, he was just absolutely amazing. And then when he played that one round of in the 60s at the Hero World Challenge last year also, it seemed that Tiger Woods did have a lot of fuel, had a lot of energy, and he had a lot of will to try and come back. And I think if there is any sportsman who can come back from these kind of depths, it is Tiger Woods. I mean, many other sportsmen have had troubled times, including, the Michael Phelps. Roger Federer, actually, we never thought would win another slam, but he came back. But then Roger Federer did not have these kind of problems. Tiger Woods has got problems which are actually, sullying his reputation, kind of in every time he comes onto the golf course. It is not Tiger Woods that we actually idolized. It's not the Tiger Woods that we adore. It's not the Tiger Woods we wanted our kids to admire. It's a Tiger Woods we simply look at him for his infallibility in the game of golf. And that itself has kind of shattered as a broken. And it is up to him to put those pieces together. And I think it's going to be pretty difficult. But as I said before, if there is one sportsman who can do it, it's only Tiger Woods.
It's been the year where lots of great sportspersons have shown this remarkable tenacity of launching great comebacks. We only see with the due course of time, but the Tiger Woods can do the same. Mr. Krishnaswamy, we thank you so much for joining us on WION Sports tonight.